What just happened? Google, Microsoft, and Amazon just realized AI's biggest problem isn't chips, it's electricity. For years, the narrative around artificial intelligence focused on one thing: who could build the fastest processors. NVIDIA dominated. Taiwan held the line. Everyone watched the chip wars like it was the only game that mattered. But while the tech industry was obsessing over semiconductors, something much bigger was happening in the background. The lights were starting to flicker. In 2024, Microsoft made a move that shocked the energy industry. The company signed a deal to restart 3 Mile Island. Yes, that 3 Mile Island, the nuclear plant at the center of America's worst nuclear disaster in 1979. The goal? Generate enough electricity to power AI data centers. Around the same time, Google announced investments in nuclear startups like Commonwealth Fusion Systems and Kairos Power. Amazon wasn't sitting idle either, quietly moving forward with plans to build its own nuclear reactors. These weren't isolated announcements. They were desperate moves by the world's largest technology companies facing a crisis nobody saw coming. Their AI models are consuming electricity faster than the grid can supply it. The numbers are staggering. A single AI query on ChatGPT uses roughly 10 times more electricity than a Google search. Training an advanced AI model can consume as much energy in a day as a medium-sized city uses in a year. OpenAI's data centers are already pulling power equivalent to what Zambia, an entire nation of 20 million people, uses annually. And we're still in the early innings. If current trends continue, AI data centers could consume more electricity than the entire United States within the next decade. The grid cannot handle it. Traditional power plants cannot scale fast enough. This isn't a theoretical problem anymore. It's an existential bottleneck. And big tech finally figured out what's really at stake. The math is simple, but brutal. Whoever controls the energy supply controls artificial intelligence itself. This is why the nuclear pivot matters so much. For the past 50 years, energy policy has been boring. Utilities managed power grids. Governments set regulations. Tech companies paid their bills and moved on. But AI changed everything. When you're building systems that require gigawatts of power just to operate, energy isn't a line item anymore. It's a strategic asset. It's the difference between having unlimited compute capacity and hitting a hard ceiling that no amount of venture capital can overcome. This is also a geopolitical play. The United States has been losing its manufacturing edge for decades. China controls the majority of rare earth elements and has massive government backing for its AI initiatives. Europe is moving slower on AI regulation, which means slower development. But energy infrastructure, that's one arena where the US still has leverage. Nuclear technology, grid capacity, and the ability to rapidly deploy new power sources are uniquely American advantages. By securing energy supplies now, big tech isn't just solving a technical problem. They're betting that energy security will determine which country's AI companies dominate the next decade. There's also an economic reality driving this. Traditional electricity sources, coal, natural gas, are becoming unreliable and expensive. Renewable energy like solar and wind is promising but intermittent. Nuclear power is the only scalable, reliable source of baseload energy that doesn't produce carbon emissions. For companies like Microsoft and Google that have made climate pledges, going nuclear is the only honest way forward if they want to keep scaling AI. It's not ideology, it's thermodynamics. This isn't just a tech story. This is reshaping entire industries and economies. Microsoft is the most aggressive player right now. By securing 3 Mile Island, they're betting that a dedicated power source will give them an unfair advantage in the enterprise AI market. Companies that use Microsoft's AI tools will effectively be tapping into the company's own power grid. That's a competitive moat that's impossible to replicate quickly. Google is taking a different approach, investing in next-generation nuclear startups rather than acquiring existing plants. This is a longer-term play, but it positions Google as the company that's building the future of energy. If fusion power becomes viable, and Commonwealth Fusion Systems claims it will by 2030, Google will own a crucial piece of that pie. Amazon is the wild card. They're moving slower publicly than Microsoft or Google, but they're also building actual reactors on their own property. This suggests a more secretive, long-term strategy. For Amazon, energy independence isn't just about AI. It's about keeping AWS competitive in a world where compute is becoming the commodity and power is becoming the constraint. The companies that lose in this scenario are obvious: traditional energy utilities, smaller AI startups that can't afford to build their own reactors, and countries that don't have nuclear expertise or uranium supplies. The geopolitical implications are massive. Energy becomes the new tech. And if you don't have access to it, you're locked out of the AI future. The next 5 years will determine everything. We're going to see 3 major developments. First, there will be a wave of nuclear restarts and new builds. The regulatory environment is already shifting. The US government is quietly fast-tracking nuclear approvals for projects backed by big tech. This will accelerate deployment. Don't be shocked if we see 5 to 10 new reactors come online specifically designed to power data centers by 2030. Second, expect energy to become as important as real estate in the tech industry. Companies will compete for proximity to power sources the way they once competed for talent hubs. Data centers won't be built in Silicon Valley anymore. They'll be built next to nuclear plants. The geography of tech is about to shift fundamentally. Third, and most importantly, watch for energy companies to become the new tech giants. If you can reliably generate and distribute power at scale, you have leverage over every AI company that exists. We might see a merger wave where big tech acquires or partners with energy companies. Or, alternatively, energy companies will finally have the leverage to dictate terms to tech. That power dynamic is about to flip. The AI arms race was never about chips. It was always about energy. The companies that secure power supply first will control artificial intelligence for the next generation. Microsoft, Google, and Amazon have all read the room. They're moving, and everyone else is still debating which GPU to buy. This isn't a story about nuclear reactors. It's a story about who controls the future. And that future runs on electricity. Follow for daily AI and business updates.